Welcome to the Coop Tank. I'm your host, Steve Cooper, coming to you from SuiteRecording in beautiful Mount Laurel, New Jersey. You know, people, if you have a video cast, a podcast, an audio book, hell, even if you need a studio built, SuiteRecording is a place for you. Joe Gangemi not only knows his stuff, but he's a hard worker, he's honest, and he's a really good guy. So reach out to them. Go to their website, SuiteRecording, SUITE recording.com, or email them at hello@suiterecording.com. Anyway, we have an all-female panel today, and women in the business world have a very, very special place in my heart. Because my mother, who's still alive, but she has Alzheimer's, but she's hanging in there, she graduated Temple University in 1952 as a marketing major, and she was the only woman in her class. And in fact, she had a job offer from Campbell's Soups before she graduated. So I always grew up with a strong woman who is in the business world, and it means a lot to me that all these women are on today, and I like them all, and they're all nice. And my first is Kim Carl, and she's from Jim Carl's Autobody Repair. How you doing, Kim?
Good, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Hey, and then we have Stacey Linderman from A6 Financial and Business Optimization LLC. How you doing, Stace?
Doing good. I'm super excited to be on the new Coop Tank format.
All right, and another Stacey, who I met at a event at the Pyramid Club like 4 years ago, and she gave me a sip of her drink as was good, and I think I gave her a cold because I was sick that day, and I was showing her my engagement ring that I had not yet got engaged. I was showing, and it's from B Group LLC. It's Staci Bender-Epstein. How you doing, Stacy?
I am great. Happy Friday, and I'm super excited to be here. Thank you.
Great. So we're just going to go around at first and tell everyone a little bit what you do and what makes your company different, what makes you different. And we'll start off with you, Kim.
Hi, so I'm Kim Carl. My husband and I own an auto body business in the Mercer County area. We're a very handheld, we're very customer service oriented type industry. Excellence of repairs is the highest priority, but also customer service at every turn. So, if we can help with anything, we handle all auto body and paint repairs. So reach out.
And how about you, Stacey Linderman?
That's a hard one to follow, Kim. That's great. I love your mission. We are a CFO on retainer CFO services company specializing in organizational efficiencies and budgeting, all super fun stuff.
And how about you, Staci Bender-Epstein?
I know. It sounds like a disease. I never know how to introduce myself because people in the past know me as Bender and people now married as Epstein. So I'll call me whatever the hell you want to call me. But Kim, I'm so glad you're on here because now I have a place to go to. And Stacy and I do know each other. So that's amazing. And I support you. Let's see. So I too work with my husband and we have a boutique staffing company called B Group. We're focused, I'd say 80% on sales and marketing professionals, industry agnostic, so more skill set focused. And we do it for permanent and for contract employees. And I guess networking, from a networking perspective, we're here in the greater Philadelphia region. So our networking is here, but we place candidates all over.
I want to start off because I always ask this question because you all work on your own. And I met Kim when she was with another company, but I want to know what made you finally decide to go out on your own. Some people say they hated corporate. Some people say they were time to grow, but we're going to start with you, Stacey Linderman. What made you go out on your own?
I actually did not have a bad corporate experience. I just was ready. I was ready for my next chapter. I was, 25 years in, as a working mother, two beautiful children. This is similar story to other people, maybe some, health issues, maybe some just like the pressures of the next promotion, the next raise, the next title. And deep down, I believe I have a gift. I have a gift to see the reality through the fog. And I love the numbers. And I felt like I was no longer sharing my gift. So I started out as like a whim. I took a couple consulting clients, and at one point I thought I was going to go back full time. And I just loved it. I loved being able to really help them and see how appreciative they were and get the notes that you like change the fabric of their company. And just like I had such a bigger impact on the companies that were at around 40 million than the companies that were over $1 billion.
Okay.
And I still work with both types of companies today, but just like the appreciation when you're helping another CFO that knows what you really do, or a business owner that you just change the nature of their business. I just loved it. And I said, all right, I'm going to give this a try. It's hard though. Wow, guys. Coming from corporate America, I don't think I realized how hard it was to be an entrepreneur and to wear every single hat in the business.
Okay, well, Kim, how about you? What, because it's recent for you. So what made you?
We've been open just 2 months.
Yeah, so what made you take that step? Because I knew when you worked in personnel, and that's how I knew you. And then all of a sudden, you dropped this bombshell, and everyone is like, "Hey, by the way, and everyone supported you, and it's great." But what made you take that step? I know your husband's worked for the company for a long time, but that's scary. And once again, it's you and your husband starting it, so that's even scarier because then it's like, "Oh shit, we both can't be stressed at the same time because that's going to cause problems."
It happens.
So, yeah. So tell me what was your step to actually branching out?
So Jim actually, my husband Jim was in the industry 26 years. We naturally wanted our own business. I think it was always something on a back burner in our heads. I come from a sales and customer service driven background. Jim is everything Autobody, has worked his way up. He was in the same position or the same company for 26 years before we went and opened another business. And we actually built this business ground up. So it was licensing. We brought in a brand new paint booth. We redid a building cosmetically. We went out and started driving for all work, from every resource. And Stacey, like you were saying, it's an eye-awakening experience for sure. You knew it was going to be hard, but then you really see logistics of every single angle. I mean, looking into healthcare benefits and different things coming from a corporate background. I mean, we were fully staffed. I'm so lucky that we're fully staffed in a very competitive market with really high quality techs. In our industry, it's a lot of licensing. It's a lot of different certificates, different industry standards that we have to hold up to. Fortunately, with Jim's connection, some of that came, and then I like to think I add, a sales and customer aspect to it, where Jim maybe isn't, well, he still is strong, but maybe not quite as strong. I'll give myself a little credit once in a while.
It's good. Now, how about you, Staci Epstein?
Oh my God, I'm sitting here like, how do I tell this story quickly? Well, first of all, thank God for both of you. I hate numbers. I'm horrible at them. That's why I'm going to refer business to you, Stace. And Kim, I love cars. I don't even know how to change a tire. So like, seriously, thank gosh for both of you. I did not dream of becoming an entrepreneur. I called off a wedding, and that's how I started the first company. And then I got married, well, to somebody different, and started my second company. So this is all by like happenstance. And I just realized, I was saying to a friend, I've been on my own now longer than I've been in corporate. And I'm like, how's that possible? Because I'm still like 29. Anyway, so I'm 45. So let's see. I background's marketing. I started at an agency and I worked a little bit in staffing. So I don't even know if I love recruiting, and I'm laughing because I have a staffing business, but I love connecting. It is like by far my favorite thing. I'm like, you need an auto body place, you need a fractional CFO, you need a plumber, I got it. So basically my first business was a marketing business. I had some partners. I decided it wasn't for me. I got out of that business. And the second one, which I've been now in for 9 years, I started out for like free and for fun. And my old client said, hey, I need a head of marketing. I need somebody in sales. And I was like, okay, You can have some fun, but free is kind of ridiculous, and people are your largest asset of your business. So that's kind of how B Group was born. B Group, Bender-Epstein, be whatever you want to be. That's kind of how that all came about. But I don't know, it was the love of connecting and people, and it just started. And, one by one, I started placing people. My husband, who was in corporate for a very long time, decided I'm going to join my wife and try this entrepreneurial thing. Which, Kim, yeah, it is. Some days are amazing and some days are tough. And not just because it's Ed and I, we work very well together, but it's tough. You're right. From benefits to our women business certification to administrative stuff to clients to candidates. I mean, it's a lot, but it is a great partnership and marriage, pun intended. And this is where we are today. And it just sort of, I always feel like life works itself out. Even though there's so many bumps in the road and you can't really see the next step, you somehow are like exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned being a
Great.
connector, and we all are networkers. And I want to know, honestly, what is it like for, me and Stacey had talked about Lindemann at an event. What is it like for a woman to network now? Because I always bring this up. I still see the creeps. I don't care. I'm not going to hold it back. I always see these creepy old dudes who want pictures and they put it on LinkedIn like they look like a stud. And I'm like, it's 2023. Get over yourself. But what is it like coming from? I want to hear from 3 women who are out there, and you all network a lot and you all are connectors. But is it as bad as I make it, or is it just something I'm a cynic? I mean, because I sit there, I see some of these pictures, I go, Jesus, what are you doing? Like, it reminds me of like the comedians I know with like the young waitress. I'm like, they're not interested in you. Leave them alone. But what do you think? We're going to start with you, Kim. What is it like really for a woman out there networking?
So I think that I'm a pretty good judge of character on the average. So I tend to try and walk into a room and initially connect with someone that either I know or that seems reasonable to connect with. And then you just build from that scenario. I don't know in my personal experience if it's the same as what you're saying. However, 10 or 15 years ago, I do remember multiple conversations about different scenarios from all ends on some of those situations. Right now, and it could be my network and it could be where I'm going, it seems a lot higher professional level. And a lot more accountability within the networking, which is great for everyone involved. So maybe it's not quite that bad as what you're saying, but I'd be interested to see what Stacy and Stacy have to say.
Yeah, Stacey Epstein, because you've been on networking. We're gonna go with you next. What's
You
your
know,
intake?
it's interesting because it is so different for me post-COVID. I have to be honest. And I'm so sorry if I offend anybody who lost somebody during COVID, but for me personally, COVID was probably the best thing that happened. You know me, Steve, before, like I was a lunatic running around my entire career. I had to be everywhere all at once. I'm not even sure that was well, I mean, I guess some of that made me successful to some degree, but I became a lot more strategic through COVID. So I don't do a million things in person. I do things that really make sense to me. I do a lot more female oriented, nothing against men. I love men, but like a lot is around women owned business. So I do a lot virtually. I do a lot one-on-one. So I'm picking and choosing who I want to meet with. I will say, like Kim, years ago, it was like a shit show every event, right? It was like who could meet the most girls and women and take pictures, like you said. But I don't have that same feeling. At least I don't in the last like 3 years. So I'm pretty strategic. And I think they say I'm the worst. You said about cursing, I'm the worst. I'm like trying not to curse, but I was going to say, like, as you get older, you give less, you know what? And I think I'm just like more blunt. And like, if I don't want to talk to you or I see a weirdo come in my way, I'm like, yeah, I just dodge to the right and like talk to somebody else. So we get smarter as we get older, I guess, with everything and with networking. But to your point, Steve, a long time ago and before COVID, it was always like that.
How about you, Stacey Linderman?
Things have changed in the last 20 years, in my opinion. So I don't know if it's that I was 20 years younger And I look different and my style is different and my hair is different. But in corporate America, you would go to a vendor fair, or you would go to a dinner or a business leader of the year event. And oh, it was terrible. Like it was, who's going to put their hands on you first? You know, like you said, Steve, like what creepy guy's going to put his hands around your waist or around your shoulder or come on doll? And you're like, is this serious? I'm a VP. Like, are you kidding me? It has gotten way better for me in the networking arena, but it really could be that I'm much older and I hold myself differently. Although there was an event, it might have been within the last 3 months that I went to, that it was like a flashback of the past. There was quite a few creepy, I was a guest at the event. I will not name what event it is. Maybe I'll send the person that invited me this recording afterwards so they know. And I wish you were at the event, Steve, because I would have like ran up to you and been like, you're not going to believe my last 3 experiences. Like it was I was on one side of the room and it was the touchy feely, and I was so I beelined away from that, and then I got next to someone who literally had his like arms around me. So I was like, excuse me, like kind of out of that. And I thought, what is going on here? This is supposed to be a professional networking event. I don't know if it was because they were having alcohol. I wasn't drinking. It was weird. It was weird. It didn't bother me, wasn't upset or whatever. But I thought, I'm not going back to that group. They're not vetting their people at all.
Hey, that makes sense. I mean, I know, I think I know what event you're talking about, but that's okay. I want to ask though, networking with women, because it seems like right now there's a big push of women-owned businesses, and it should be, because you know, to me, it's from my background in stand-up. I never thought, you know, a female comedian or male comedian or African American comedian. No, they were just comedians to me. Just like, because I think the way I grew up, women business owners are just business owners. I also am more, you know, progressive in that thought. I think a lot of people still live in the past, even though it's 2023. What is it like now that there's a strong movement? There's a lot of women's groups. Does that make it easier for you? Is it easier to network with them? Do they sit there and is it as supportive? Because sometimes you go into an event and if it's all guys, you have the big, you know, who's the big honcho? Like, hey, you know, hey, look at me, look at me. Does that happen with women, or are women a lot more supportive? Or is it like when we said in college, oh, women, you know, when they want to date that guy, so they'll talk behind your back. But what is it like when you intermingle with mostly just women business owners? Is it easier, and they are very supportive? And we'll start with you, Staci Epstein.
Oh my, great. I'm first on this one. I actually have a pretty good experience, and at least recently, right? I'm getting older, so I can't even remember like 10 years ago, but I'm just thinking of now. I've had a really good experience with most women groups that I'm involved with, like very collaborative, wanting to see other women do well and be supportive. I will say this though, I don't want to be all positive and nothing's negative in life, because there are certainly women that don't want to see other women succeed, and that is sad, right? You want to see them fail, or it's very competitive. But again, I think I'm very picky and choosy now in what I decide to join. So the groups and the events that I'm going to at least seem like they're very positive and they're very supportive. And that's at least as of, you know, recent and in the last few years. Like everybody has wanted to help and help grow our business. So yeah, I mean, I have a pretty positive experience, but I'm not going to say all through my career it hasn't been the back talking, or people said, you know, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth, because that certainly happens. I think I try to weed out a lot of the noise too, and focus on the people that I want to help and that have helped me grow personally and professionally. So I'm going to say I've had a pretty good experience with a few hiccups here and there.
How about you, Stacey Linderman?
I don't see a difference between the two. There are women networking events, that there are the big honchos and the cliques and the groups and you know, and then the same exact thing in a very diverse room. I think that you gravitate towards the people that you know you want to help them and they want to help you. And I have so many like super great contacts I don't gravitate towards an all women's networking group, and I don't run away from it either. I had a really great experience young in my career, a company called Thrive Leadership, owned by Teresa Hoffman. She's amazing. And her group, it was a women's leadership group. And oh my God, it was fabulous. Like, it changed the trajectory of like my leadership style and it was amazing. I haven't had an experience like that since with a women's group, but I think it's just a mix of people regardless of gender.
How about you, Kim?
I think if you surround yourself with good people in the business and professional world, you can do good things. And as you get older and get more experience under your belt, coming up in a networking environment, you can really kind of pick and choose who you want to speak with and have relationships with, because they're time, right, to build the relationships and to have those networking groups. And you want to make sure that you're leveraging your time as a business owner in the correct manner, moving forward. There's internal struggles, I think playing in a very male dominated industry, which is changing in the auto body industry. But, I think that, you're dealing with predominantly male in the industry. And, I think I'm probably a very strong advocate, for my husband, but as well for myself. And then I think that just naturally carries over into a networking environment. Just, I love to refer things to women, but just as much, I'd like to refer things,
Yeah.
refer jobs, refer whatever I can to men as well. It's just surround yourself with good people, and you'll be able to do good things.
Okay, so now you're all business owners, and I talked to people about this last week. What fears do you encounter being a business owner? We talked about last week about doubt. We always you wake up sweating, and you have that self-doubt. And I think it's a very important question because a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but everyone goes through that, especially you're all in different points of your ownership. So I'm sure they've changed. But are there fears that you deal with when you're opening a business? And even though you've been in it for a while, you wake up and go, oh shit, I'm worried. And we'll start with you, Kim, because you're the newest. I mean, you're new in it. Do you have those fears that people never want to talk about it? You ever notice when you go to an event, everyone says, oh, we're doing great. Oh, no. Everyone goes, holy shit, this is a goddamn shit show. No one ever says that. But we all go through that, and we all have fears. And Kim, like, what is going on with you? Because you are new. Luckily, your husband's been in it for a long time, and you have a background, so you guys, complement each other. But what are some of the fears you go through? Because it's not even a year.
Steve, it's not even 3 months. So I think my fears might change by the minute. I think fears are natural. Jim and I jumped in this with both feet in, not looking back. And I think you have to run a successful business on this capacity. My fears constantly is having enough sales and my employees being happy. If I don't have good people working for us, they're not happy. It's just not going to work for the business at all, and we're going to crumble. So always our initial fear is that we're surrounding ourselves with good people internally on our team, and that they're happy and they're performing to the best of their capability, and they have what they need to perform to the best of their capabilities on a daily basis.
How about you, Stacey Linderman?
Well, I'm always so honest, so mine's going to be pretty blunt, I think. Am I doing enough? Am I bringing in enough to contribute to my family? Are my clients so happy that they're going to hire us for another project? Are they going to refer us? Do they love us? Is this sustainable? Did I lose my mind not just getting a CFO job for another company with a set salary and a set benefits? And I love what I do. And then I will wake up in the middle of the night like, have I lost my mind? Have I lost my mind? And I don't come from a background of business owners. Like my husband, different than you guys. He's like entrepreneur. We are not in this together. He is not. He's like, this is your thing. This is your thing. He has his full-time job. I'm like, he's supportive in terms of like, you got this, you know, that type of thing. But in it together, no. We don't talk about my clients. He doesn't want to know my clients. He doesn't even know what I'm doing. Going to an event. Were you at a happy hour tonight? I'm like, I was working. This is work. Like my mom and my close friends are still like, are you going to get a real job again? What? I'm like, been doing this, you know, pre-pandemic. This is my job. This is my company. So yeah, the fears. I don't have the imposter syndrome that so many people suffer with. I do really like, I don't question that I know what I'm doing. But in this entrepreneurial journey, I question, have I lost my mind?
How about you, Epstein? I'm just gonna call you
Oh,
Epstein.
or Bender, whatever. It really doesn't matter. I've been called worse. But I too am very blunt and very vulnerable. I always have been. Like, I will tell my whole story on here. And you know, it's funny, Steve, you mentioned, like, I swear in the last 20 years of my career, there's some people I've seen for 20 years straight and their business is always great. Everything's great. I'm like, there's no fucking way your business is great every single day for 20 years. So I'll be honest now, our business is slow now. I've been totally stressed out and it's not seasonal. And everybody keeps asking me that. And I love my friends and family, and they're all like, you're going to be great. You and Ed are awesome. I know we're great. And I know we do good work, but I still have the fear of, we have two entrepreneurs in a household. It is our livelihood. It is our income. And it's freaking scary. So that's a fear I always have. Am I going to have enough business? Am I doing enough? Like Stacy said, are our candidates happy once we place them, right? Because we have a guarantee on that candidate. And even beyond our guarantee placement, phase, I want to make sure they're happy in the new home we've placed them in. Are our clients happy? Are we going to have repeat business? Do I still enjoy? It's about passion for me. And I realize that. And I also hear that more in candidates now. I want to make sure I always want to have that passion for connecting. And once I lose that, I will move on to something new. I don't think I'll lose it. And I haven't in 9 years, but it really is important to love what you do, because if you don't, you're just never going to be successful.
Well, I'm going to follow up with a new letter question. I'm going to start with you, Epstein. What constitutes a good day to you as a business owner? What do you sit there and go, this was a really good day? Not in sales, not that you had a big sale because they're transitional, but what constitutes when you sit there and you go, man, you know what? I'm going to have a glass of wine. This is a great day. What constitutes that to you?
Well, every day constitutes a glass of wine, but it's funny you said that, because today started out great. And this is going to make me sound so silly, but I haven't worked out in like a week because I haven't felt great, but I worked out. I danced. I love to dance by myself. It's super weird, but I journaled for a few minutes. I had a good breakfast. I had my coffee. I was excited about this, but a good day in general does start out with a workout and dancing and journaling, but being productive in the business. I tend to, I have self-diagnosed ADHD. I'm all over the place, and I like to check things off the list, but I like to make sure I'm productive. And productive and having a good day means meeting one or two. I try to do at least 5 or 6 one-on-one Zooms or meetings a week, mostly Zooms. Meeting new people, helping to refer business to other people, and having business referred to me. So meeting new people, helping the business grow, working on the business also on things for the future, and not just the day-to-day. And that's hard because I get stuck in the day-to-day. Talking to candidates, even if we don't have a place to put them at a client, just helping. I guess that's my theme here. I just really love helping, whether it's a client with a challenge or a candidate or someone looking for help. We get a lot of people referred to us looking for jobs. No matter if we have a home for them or not, I will always help them. So for me, that makes me feel good to know that we're helping others. Personally, that makes me feel good.
How about you, Kim? What constitutes a good day in the business for you?
I think exactly like Stacy was saying, productivity, crossing things off your list. With me, it's been very sales driven. So it's moving pegs with insurance companies to get onto programs. It's different things from that end. But looking at my day and feeling like things were accomplished in a logical manner during the day, and I'm thinking long term, like Stacy was saying, and not just the immediate. That's a great day. And the more and more that happens is definitely a win. And that constitutes maybe 2 glasses of wine, Stacy, on some nights,
Well, there you
Depends.
go. All right. And how about you, Stacey Linderman?
Mine's going to be similar to the rest of the group. I am definitely motivated by productivity. So when I feel like I got a lot done in that hour that day and didn't, wasn't wasting space, that really is very helpful to me. Like I then can sleep better at night. But one thing that I've realized over the last, like whatever 3-4 years of this journey is that my clients are so lovely and appreciative. So I've gotten ice cream baskets and sweatshirts and coffee deliveries and wine deliveries, and like with these beautiful notes of you changed my whole outlook, or I finally understand, or wow, that clicked, or I've been meaning to do that project for 10 years, or I'm looking back on the advice you gave us 2 years ago and it really changed the business. I'm not saying I didn't get that in corporate America. I mean, you got that through your bosses not yelling at you, or getting a good performance review, or get a merit increase or a raise or whatever. And the fact that you were still working there, you got, but just like the acts of kindness and the like true appreciation, the testimonials that you didn't ask for, that I started a book, a dear friend of mine, Meredith Stein, who actually just wrote a real book, Cloud Governance. She told me I was feeling down one day about like, oh, am I doing enough? And she said, get a notebook, a box, something. And when people write you these little notes that you did a great job or you really helped them, save them. And if you ever feel down, go back and look at the book. So I haven't been great at going back and looking at the book, but I do keep those notes that people write me. Wow, it really does motivate me. I never thought that self-reinforcement would be that meaningful, but it is.
Well, let me ask you this. And it's because people will say to me sometimes, you go, oh, we appreciate what you do. You're connecting people.
Yeah.
I hate taking compliments. I don't do it well. How do you take a compliment, Stacy Linderman? Like, do you sit there and go, why, thank you. I am kiss my ring. Or do you sit there and go, oh, well, thank you. Are you humble? Because I get very humbled. I guess it's just an insecurity in me. But what is it?
Yeah.
How do you feel to compliment, Stacy Linderman?
I've gotten a little better with it with age, right? But I think it's humbling. It's like, oh wow, you took time to write me a note. Like that, I can't believe that helped you that much. Like, oh, it just means so much. It is so kind.
How about you, Kim Carl?
So kind.
Kim.
I just think there's nothing better than someone saying they're happy, coming from a driven, like, inner soul of, I need to make people happy with the service that we did from start to finish, and turn it around. Because let's be honest, getting in a car accident just sucks. So, if I can take that experience and make it better, it's never going to be completely positive, but if I can make it better and they're happy leaving. And we had someone drop off on a plant, like a plant for the office last week, and they came in with like a note and were just raving about us. And I was like, this is like the best thing ever. You literally just did this for us. Like, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Bender?
Yeah, I love that you're going back and forth. Yeah, I too am getting better, Stacy, at accepting like even personal compliments. I'm always like, oh no, you look great. Oh no, you lost 10 pounds. In business, I being crazy. I have a file in my email inbox that's called "Atta Girl" because some woman once told me she had that, and I copied her. So I also don't look at it on every bad day, but I should. And sometimes I go in there and I'm like, oh my gosh, like all these people said this many great things about me. And it does make me feel good. And, you know, when we get a card from a cat, I love cards. Let me just say this. I'm huge on emailing, whatever. I'm obsessed with cards. All my friends know it. A card, a message goes such a long way. Nothing against email, but I save them and it makes me feel really good to know that you affected somebody else's life. Like they're thinking of you enough to deliver a plant, write you a message, send you gifts. Like that's amazing.
Okay,
I
now
agree.
I'm going to get to the dark part of the show. No, I want to say, you know, we're all on social media, and I things irk me. I want to find out from each of you, what is a term that is being used, okay, that is being used way too much. For me right now, and I don't know if I talked about this, it's a referral partner, because there's so many people who say we have a referral partner, but they don't give any referrals. So technically, are they a referral partner? No, they're just someone you talk to. But all of a sudden there's this stress, like, you know, before saying, hey, you know what? I know a auto body shop. You have a go to see Kim Carl. I wouldn't consider myself a referral partner to Kim Carl. I would consider myself a friend saying, hey, go see Kim Carl. She'll do good work. And now, because we always have to give titles on everything now, you know, it's solopreneurs, you know, like the kid selling a lemonade stand, 6 years old, is a fucking solopreneur now. Okay. And we hear that all the time. But what is a title? Just give me one that is just irking you. And it can be, you know, if it's international or global or anything like that. Give me one. And we're going to start with Kim, because Kim's the least outspoken of both of you, because, you know, you guys are, yeah, I talk to you guys a lot. Kim's so outspoken, I know. So I want to hear what Kim says,
Boy.
and then we'll get to you guys, because I know
I'm
you
definitely
both will
not that
rant.
innocent.
I know you're not, but
Not
just
that innocent at all.
What's a term that is pissing you off these days?
You know, it depends on the given week, Steve. I'm trying to think of one. You said referral partners. But it's bad because I think years ago I used to use terms in this manner, but like the preferred partners. Like if you have a business, do you think that you have 5 channels out from that business every single time? And then people want to set up these one-to-ones all the time. And I love a one-to-one because I want to know more about your business. But if you're going into a one-on-one and you just want to talk about yourself for 45 minutes straight and not try to inquire about who you're talking with, you know, like have a conversation. It's about a relationship. It's not just, oh, I did this. I don't need to know every detail of what you do on a business level at every single second. I need to know about you. Like get to the core of who you are so I can refer you out to my network and trust you enough to do that. So, you know, I don't know that it's a particular word that you're looking for, Steve. I think it's more a attitude, you know, that bothers me.
Damn, Kim Carl bringing it. I didn't know that she had that side. I'm like, wow, I saw smoke coming out of her ears. How about you, Stacey Epstein?
I could see that from Kim. She's just a little more subdued than the Stacys. We're like, la la la. She's like, you have a lot behind you, fire behind you. I can tell, Kim. I literally cannot think of a word, and it's pissing me off because you want one, and I'd have to like look on my phone right now. So I don't have a word that's bothering me except for Threads that just came out, which is Instagram's Twitter, because I have no clue how to use it, nor do I really want to. So that's pissing me off today because it just came out like 2 days ago. But anyway, like LinkedIn and like I don't know that I have a word, but similar to what Kim said, I find it, and it doesn't happen often. But when you're on a networking call for an hour and I've asked you like 50 minutes, we've talked about you, and like you never ask about me or our business or anything, I find that like astounding. Like I don't even, you're definitely not a referral partner and I will never talk to you again. But yeah, I think that like that annoys me, and like other things like not following up in our world of business, like those things really irritate me. It's not that hard, or maybe that's just part, like we're all great at business, so we follow up all the time. But yeah, I would say it's just people that are little, they're takers, they're not givers. That annoys me, but I cannot think of one word.
Well, that's all right. I also hate power partners, because I think, isn't everybody a power partner? Like, shouldn't you sit there and say anybody can know someone? And I think I've always thought that's very like snooty, like, oh, we're a power partner. You know, it's like, no, well, everyone can be a power partner. How about you, Stacey Linderman? Is there any word that gets in your crawl? I don't think that term gets in your crawl, but I don't even know what it means, but I just like it. Is there anything that gets in your crawl, Stacey Linderman?
It's going to date me. This slang, when people are like, that's ridiculous, or I'll give you a tro, and you're like, you mean an introduction? Like the little, like that, like I'm too busy to say the whole word. Let me just throw out the like on the gram, and you're like, Instagram. So I don't know, that's like a pet peeve of mine, that even like on TV shows or whatever, I'm like, just say the word. Like this is this I shouldn't have to like look up what you're talking about. But no, the only thing that really bugs me, I think, on like social, a lot of it doesn't get on my nerves. I don't pay that much attention, but is the hard sales. Your inbox with the, would you like to open a franchise? Would you do you need a virtual assistant? I can help you with your bookkeeping. It's like, are you even looking at what I do? Like I you know how your phone, you could have a block so that, you know, not that it works, but the block so they can't call you until you're in tax fraud, call the IRS, or, you know, what are the other, there's all those ones that you get constantly, your car insurance, whatever. I wish there was a block on LinkedIn. It's just awful.
And now we're going to say an upside, because we bitched about the downside. Networking. What is a few things, and you don't have to expand it too much. What are the things that you really, really enjoy about networking? I love meeting new people. I love trying to help people. That's what I like to do. You know, I'll meet new people at a bar. I'll meet people, you know, but of course I have a friendly face, and I had some weird guy at the supermarket started talking to me the other day. I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm trying to buy broccoli, which I ran into Stacy at the supermarket, and I said, oh my God, but it wasn't you. No, you met me. I met your daughter. But what are some things that you really you love? You know, because to be a good networker, you have to love it, and you have to be good at it, and you're all good networkers. Staci Epstein, what is something you love about networking?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same as in like 1997 when I started networking as an intern for the first company I worked for. I like this. They always say, like, don't say this in an interview. I am a people person. I really am. Like, I am like annoyingly a people person. I drive Ed nuts. Like, we will be in the supermarket and I like, you know, smile at someone because I want to start engaging in conversation. I I just love finding like commonalities between people wherever you are, whatever walks of life you come from. Like, I love just helping people and talking and hearing about their life. I mean, I get lost on calls. This goes back to productivity before. I mean, I'll talk to candidates for 2 hours because like I just want to hear about their families and like what they're going through. But I really just love connecting and meeting new people and hearing their stories. Similar to when I met you, Steve, at the Pyramid Club. Like, it gives me energy. People think I'm so hyper and I have all this energy. It's really because I feed off of other people, like on this call. Like, I get an energy. And like Kim said earlier, you have a good radar and read for people. I think I do, even though I probably talk to too many people. I have a pretty good read. If I don't like you, I'll talk to you maybe for 2 minutes. But I just really enjoy meeting new people and learning new things.
How about you, Stacey Linderman?
The different perspective. I find that like when I do the one-on-ones, like all of you, and when you find someone you just like adore and you go to the lunch with them, sometimes, you know, 4 times a year or whatever, you go to lunch and you just talk about your business and their business. It's like kind of like cross mentoring, the way I think of things versus the way you think of things, and just random ideas where someone will say, oh, well, you should share that this way, or you should code that, or that actually doesn't really work for you. I'm not clear on what you're selling. Like, it's that service that we give to each other. And that, for me, coming from big organizations and having teams, sometimes, you know, 17 people, you would, or be in an office of 60 people that you would see every day. And I am a people person. So I would love seeing people. I went from being me at home and growing a team it's the connectivity, that like brainstorming and the different way to see stuff. I had a great conversation with your producer, Steve, you had introduced me to him at Kurt's event. And oh my God, such a great guy. And like the way that he looks at like filming versus, it was just, I love the different perspectives in the different industries.
Okay, how about you, Kim?
I think, like Staci Bender was saying, it's about people for me. I love to refer business to other people and watch them grow, and it makes them happy. I think that's like the biggest win, because if you built those relationships and networking, then, good comes back to you. It's all karma, right? In the grand scheme of things.
Okay, one final question. We have one final question, and we're going to wrap this up. What would you tell someone just getting out of college today? What advice would you give them? And it could be about business, it could be about life. I happened in my college, it said, what would you give someone advice? And I said, just enjoy the campus. And then of course someone's like made it all professional. Like, no, they said, what would you enjoy about Stockton State? And I said, well, in the middle of nowhere, your parents aren't around, there's lots of booze, have fun, but be responsible. But what would you tell someone who came to you and said, listen, I'm going out on my own. I'm afraid. What should I try to do? We'll start with you, Kim. What advice would you give to that 22-year-old, bushy-eyed, bright-eyed college grad that's sitting there and going out into the world?
I like to think maybe in my world it might be a trade school grad too, but wink, wink. So it's about not setting the standard so straightforward. You have to realize on the fact that you're going to evolve and change. What you want to do in your 20s may look very differently than what your 20s are going to bring you into in your 30s and your 40s. It's an evolution. You're completely changing. Go out, explore what your options are, but most of all, do something that makes you happy during the day. Because if you're not happy, there's not a point in getting up in the morning and going to work. It's not about making the most money. It's about building what you're going to have long-term happiness with, and find your own identity within that.
Okay, how about you, Stacey Linderman?
Yeah, Kim, you had a lot of good advice. It's not, I would say it's not about the title. It's not about the title. That you're going to go down different paths and different journeys. And as long as you continue to be a lifelong learner, go for it. If you do something for 5-10 years and you decide you want to do something else, you're not a failure. You're keeping that knowledge with you every time you change. So same as you, Kim, like be happy, give back, continue to learn, and cut yourself a break.
How about you, Epstein?
Yeah, both well said and really good advice. I thought of two things right away when you asked the question in my head, so I'm just going to say it. And I do work with a lot of graduates because of the nature of our business. And there's one thing, I'm pretty blunt and honest, and I'm like, you are not doing remote work at 20, however years old. Now, this is not for someone going out to be an entrepreneur. I'm sort of just taking it holistically as somebody who's sort of a recent grad from wherever. I earned the right to wear my pajamas and whatever's on the bottom half of me because I worked 20 years, whatever, and networked and did all that. I think it's really important to be out there. I get it, the allure of staying home and doing all that, but I think it's really important, whatever it is, whether it's being in a corporate, being in an auto body, wherever, it's just important to be around people and surround yourself with good people. That is how you learn. It's how we all got to where we are. It wasn't by sitting home and just, answering the phone and wearing pajamas and whatever. And I would say also network. I wanted to start a whole thing talking to like high schools, to kids about networking and the value of networking and what it brings to somebody's career.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Well,
I would love it.
Being authentic.
Yeah. That was
right?
awesome.
Being
That was
authentic.
awesome.
Remain yourself. Like, stay true to yourself.
Well, see that? Well, that was awesome advice. And I want to thank you for coming on. Now, how can people find out about your businesses? Kim, how can they find out about you?
Check us out on Facebook at Jim Carl's Autobody Repair, or on our web at Jim Carl's Autobody Repair. And call us. I'd love to have phone conversations. 609-630-0008.
All right, Stacey Linderman.
A6 Fin Biz. You could find our email addresses. The website address is actually up there, but our LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn, Stacey Linderman. Follow the company. You could find pretty much any of our content on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram by searching hashtag A6FinBiz. I tag that to everything so we can track back. And there's a form on the website that says contact us. And on the website has the direct link, the little icon to my email, and to connect with us. But feel free, mention the Steve Cooper show, and I'll definitely know you're not just a bot trying to sell me something.
And how about you, Staci Bender-Epstein?
Yes, I would say on LinkedIn, I am Staci Bender-Epstein. Our group is B Group right here. My email is Stacy, so it's STACI. So Stacy at bgroupconnects.com. And then my number, I'll throw it out there, is 610-304-0070.
Well, that's awesome. And people, I'm not giving you my phone number because I hate talking on the phone. I love interviewing people. I hate talking on the phone. So I don't even pick up my phone. I just sit there. I go, I'll text you. I say, yeah, I'll see you later. You can email me, the Coop Tank at yahoo.com. Go subscribe on YouTube, The Coop Tank, or go to thecooptank.podbean.com if you want to listen. Also, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeart. You can have all my episodes. This is the 5th one of the roundtable, which probably much going to be keeping it that way. So check that out. Also, if you need any corporate comedy, myself and Joe Matarese will come in and do a show at your company. And don't forget to go to SuiteRecording, SUITE recording.com. As Stacey said, Joe Gangemi is the man. He produces a show because he's good at what he does, and SuiteRecording is a great place to do your show. So check him out, talk to him, send him an email at hello@suiterecording.com, and set up a podcast. And I'll also coach you on it. Anyway, I want to thank you all. Thanks for listening to the Coop Tank, and I will talk to you all next time.